Don't try to force the problem into your box. Lean into the direction the problem is pulling you towards. Using an objection-smashing webinar, probably the easiest way to make money in any business. You want to talk about low-hanging fruit. This is a webinar everybody will come to if they're interested at all in your product, more so than any other webinar you could do. And we got to determine if you want to buy it or not. Here are all of the excuses people are giving. Come on this webinar and let's talk about it. And this will be a 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or sometimes even a 6-hour webinar, and there's no content in the webinar. Now here are the things that we've been talking to customers about, the things that are making you unsure of whether or not you should say yes to this offer. And we sell. I wish I could shortcut this process, but you can't, because people won't tell you their real problems until they're 4 hours into the webinar. Because you haven't earned the right to know what limits them yet. You have to earn that right with a lot of your customers. And they say, are you serious? Are you going to really hang in there with me? Are you really going to be about it? And then when you show them, I'm not leaving, they say, thanks. So the objection-smashing webinar, it's literally, we got to determine if you're a right fit for this or not. If you're not the right fit, I want to know, so that way we don't have to waste each other's time. However, it would break my heart if you were the right fit for this and you chose to let it pass you by when it could potentially change your life. So let's try it, I urge you. You will be surprised at how excited people are to determine whether they want to spend money with you or not. This is how we primarily use it. So we do the regular webinar, and win, lose, or draw in that webinar, we follow up with this webinar. However, you can do it in any way, shape, or form. You could do a big promotion for something in some other media, and if you got the leads and you got the audience, this is just literally, come on and let me see if I can sell you this product or not. That's all that it is. My positioning is we got to determine if you're the right fit to buy this product or not. It's subtle, but it's important. However, at the beginning, just showing up is 80% of winning. So in his case, you just showed up. Boom. That's a big deal. I just don't understand why people are so afraid to sell stuff to people. Just go stand on the strip sometime. You tell me these people don't want to spend money? Go to Amazon and not find the thing you want to buy. Are you happy that you didn't spend money? You're pissed off. You went to spend money and you couldn't. We all want to spend money. We just want to spend money on the right things. And so this puts it in place. And I even say that out. Well, I just got to figure out if you're the right fit or not. That's all we're here to do. Okay? Go international. This isn't applicable for everybody. What's hard over in market A, if you can go international, when there's no competition, it's infinitely easier. So I want you to think about assets that can be translated. And localization is only one form of translation. If you can translate it from market A, where you're using a certain type of jargon, and move it to market B and give them their jargon, tons of money to be made there. And by the way, it's a great model in and of itself. It's not a lesson here, but I had a very successful guy call me up one day and do some consulting, and he says, Jason, here's the problem. I got a webinar and it's got too much content on it. I just want to teach, and every time I try to cut it up and try to make it smaller and get rid of some of the teaching, I can't do it. I got it down to 2.5 hours, or about 2 hours before I pitch. But they need to know this stuff before I could properly sell it to them. What should I do? And here's a strategic principle I learned early on that has made me a tremendous amount of money. Don't try to force the problem into your box. Lean into the direction the problem is pulling you towards. And so I told him, conclusion that I had discovered on my own, I go, don't go shorter, go longer. He's like, what do you mean? I go, it's obviously pulling you the direction of longer, not shorter, so let's lean into that. Let's just figure out how to make it make sense. So I said, charge for the webinar now. And now you can train longer. Now that they pay you for the webinar, they expect to learn. So context is everything. Anybody who fits the particular context. So the person that shows up for a free webinar, they got one finger on the closed webinar box. They're looking for an excuse. They say, fuck around and find out, buddy. I'm out of here the moment. If you smile a half a second too late, I'm gone, right? But they pay you $1 and they will stay all day. Because they paid for it, so they better learn something. Changes the whole context. Same person, different context. And so I said, you just charge for the webinar. And then you give them 3 hours of training at a low ticket price point, and then you sell them a high ticket product on the 4th hour. Some of the greatest close rates we've ever had are where we did full on real world training, not orchestrated training, which is what most webinars is. Most webinars is an elaborate method to get you agitated about a problem. It says, oh, you got a headache? Bam! Let me hit you over the head with a hammer and then sell you an Advil, right? That's a good strategy. Let me blow you away with education that you will only pay attention because you paid for it. And then let me give you an offer to go even further if it makes sense for you. It's really good, and it's really good on immature markets, like international markets.